One more BO5 after this. And let's find out if this is the last game of the night. Origen have literally nowhere else to go. The analyst desk was alluding to some options Origen could go for. Throw everything out the window. Play your super ultra most comfortable champions. Maybe that's an answer.
I thought that they might do it game one. Like we saw the hover of the Aurelion Soul. Like just do it. And if it was me, if I was in this situation, I would just go out swinging. You know, like we've already suffered a hefty defeat at the hand of Misfits Academy. We're already getting steamrolled by Giants. Let's go out in a way that at the very least we can be remembered.
Well, we'll find out.
That's just me.
We'll find out if Origen agree or disagree. They banned away the Nautilus this time around. It has been used in both previous games by Giants members. It was Flaxish and then Hustlin. Also important to note, Giants have side selection for game number 3. They elected red side, as you can see on your screen. And patch 7.6 with Galio not enabled.
I wonder if Origen, after the Ash ban, are looking for an early rotation Varus. Oh, do it just before I get the chance to say it. Now they're trying to pinch the pool of EQ, see what else he has to offer. We could very well see him make a shift over towards that Ezreal himself, or maybe he'll look towards the Caitlyn, or maybe even a throwback to the Ziggs, with which Giants got that victory over Origen back during the regular season.
A lot of options available to Giants, and I guess see what else everyone else wants to play. I mean, Memento had a pretty good game on Elise. In game number 1, he played the Elise Sin, had a couple of good kicks, but with Rengar open and available, Memento is going to lock in a pretty big comfort pick. Has played that a couple times this split, not the greatest performances, but unfortunately not very many wins under his belt, hence stats not working out.
So, now if you're Giants, you could look to lock in your support here, get yourself a Zyra. Strong champion that Hustlin's very comfortable on. Synergizes nicely as well with the Caitlyn too. And if you're Origen, I think that you should just try and lock in a strong bottom lane. If that's the way you want to take it, just pick yourself up a Karma now so it can't get banned away. And then either lock yourself in the Lee Sin once more for Synchro, or go for a possibility of the Graves as well.
Does Peke consider the Lulu again? Or
that too, yeah, you could go. Lulu's actually much better into the Rengar as well, so good spot on that one.
Blind pickable. Blind pickable with LeBlanc still open. Okay. Toying with our hearts. Yep. Toying with our hearts. Obviously, Sartorius is the most likely recipient of this Gragas in the top lane. Technically, it could go jungle, but with Elise, with Graves, with Lee Sin, all the options still available, I think Synchro is going to get probably a higher tier jungler. And there we go. The Kha'Zix is the answer.
So now you know that the Gragas is most likely going to be top lane. It can go into that support role. It would be risky, especially into a Zyra. Regardless, it still has that flexibility. Now, if you are Giants, I think the smart thing to do would be to lock in an AD carry right now, especially with the pool already being fairly narrow. Make sure that you get something that you're comfortable on. And then Origen are very likely to just ban away top laners. The alternative for Giants is you lock in a top laner, and that gives Origen the freedom to start pinching away your AD carries.
Ooh, very interesting indeed. Potentially mid laners as well. I mean, Aurelion Sol and Anivia were the red side bans for Giants in game number 1. Nathan has already hovered the A Sol once again. Syndra's taken off the pool, and Peke will not be able to play his Lulu. So it's not an ADC ban. It's not a mid lane ban. What happens next for Giants?
For Giants, in terms of bans or in terms of picks?
Whatever you decide to talk about, Vedius, the world is your oyster.
Well, this oyster thinks that it's worth talking about the fact that Orianna is still available, Victor is still available. Victor has actually had a lot of impact in this game in terms of the wave clear and the damage that he's been outputting. But for Giants, they're just saying, you know what? I just want to ban away supports. Let's see what else you've got. Origen left in the tank. I'm sitting there thinking maybe Nami is what he could very well move towards. Tom Kench is another option. You have a few map movements that you can look to make. Maybe try and force a couple plays here and there. Rely on the shot calling that Peke is...
Was famous for. Unfortunately, that mythical Peke shot calling is not proven successful in the support role, despite the 16 games that Peke played during the regular season. The last ban will be Caitlyn, so Hiku's not going to get his hands on that. Probably raises the value of Ezreal.
Yeah, for sure. Ezreal. Oh, of course, Lucian. Has been played all over the world here and there. Not really the highest of priority but definitely has come out, especially on certain AD carries, depending on their preferences. And into the Varus, he will definitely trade very well, but he will have a range disadvantage. But with a Zyra in your lane, you can afford to play a lot more violently. You can look to trade a lot more.
A lot more violently, okay. I'll go
I didn't want to use the word aggressive.
Hiku, this will be the second time that he has played Lucian all year long, and Xpeke has locked in Thresh. Thresh, for the first time in the support role for Xpeke. It is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out.
I think that they're going for the all-in level 6 kind of play. It's pretty strong, but it will be difficult because the early laning phase, very strong for the Zyra. We can explore it a little bit more once we get into game, but Origen, they've drafted themselves good pick comp. Their team fighting is very good as well. Very well rounded. The biggest issue I have with the composition is their inability to send someone off to a side lane. So they're going to have good side lane control in order to make the maximum use out of that fourth wave, or the third lane slow push setup, and then focus on the other two lanes. In fact, the Giants round out with a nice special.
And what special is that?
The Zilly.
Oh, nice.
He was well known for it back in his Challenger days before he joined the LCS. Then during the regular season, he brought out numerous times. He also gave me one of my favorite caster moments. So he is definitely proficient on it, and it's very much playing around his solo laner in Flaxish and TQ on the Lucian.
Yeah, of course, a lot of mobility, and I think that's going to be very useful for Knight. If anyone gets caught by their death sentence, well, Chrono Break, and no, Chrono Shift, and all of a sudden you can revive whoever's been targeted and caught out. On the side of Origen, a lot of pick power. Their front line, a slightly easier team comp to play than we saw from game number 2.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But goodness gracious me, Xpeke on his debut on Thresh in the support role on the LCS stage. Will Thresh be the champion that sends him packing back to Challenger? That's the man on your screen. We really have to keep an eye on that lane.
The pressure is on. Origen have struggled consistently throughout the regular season. They are yet to win a series. And this is their most important game of the spring split.
I think the tempo of your speech with the music makes it epic.
It does.
Giants take on Origen, 2-0 up. Origen, the former cause for euphoria, now on the verge of a final eulogy. I'm bringing back the 2015 Worlds memes because they are hella appropriate right now.
And Giants, they're looking to continue their reputation of making it through promotion tournaments.
Wow, they got one more BO5 tomorrow, assuming they win here, right? If you are just joining us, Giants have quite clearly had Origen's number this series. Game 1 was relatively slow-paced and sort of two team comps that were relatively similar, but Giants just came out ahead. It was a 50-minute game, they had better team fights, they punished Origen. Game 2, Giants just played better, you know? They had a map control, a team fight control. And
the classic play-by-play buzzwords.
That's it.
But they really, really did. Giants, they utilized their early advantage well. They went for a few overzealous fights with their composition, which they aptly lost because their comp wasn't quite strong enough to force those fights.
I mean, that's also the point of overzealous, right?
Yes,
the implication is they were optimistic.
It's very true. Thank you for clarifying.
I'm just, you know, making sure you understand.
Not the audience. They've got it for sure.
The audience are on top of things.
Got it.
Okay,
so it's for my benefit. Thank you, Trevor.
It is
very
indeed.
considerate of you.
And I'm looking at Memento. He did that little cheeky blast cone start, get a couple extra stacks of the passive before he begins to clear out the Raptor camp.
All right, observers, let's go to the bottom lane. Jungler's very exciting, but Peke is playing Thresh.
I told them to do that.
That's very fair. That's fair. You know, jungle starts are all exciting, and I can appreciate that a lot. But let's see how well Peke can manage the Zyra harassment. Again, bear in mind that Lucian's range is fairly short, so if he wants to trade, he has to have that control from Huston. You can see that Peke using his Flay in order to get the shield from his from the passive, or from the
Keystone.
That's the Badger. The Keystone Mastery will give him the shield, which then means that he can continue to trade for longer periods of time. But slowly, OG have actually been able to get this early push, and they're looking for that early level 2.
Yeah, coming up very closely thanks to some aggressive moves from Expeke. Allows Origen's bottom lane to hit level 2.
Are you thinking more violent moves? Is that what you're thinking of?
Literally, I put 3 things down of things not to do today, and I've done every single one of them. So Tabs and Peke, they get the early level 2. Death Sentence is available if needed, and Hustler and Hikyu pay the necessary respect. Deadly Spines popping up, but look at your mini-map. Synkrov can come up behind Flaxish's Renekton.
Ooh. I think he just wanted to get some sight on what was going on with the Krugs. He now knows what's happening, and now he's going for a gank level 2.
All right, Flash is available and Slice and Dice.
Oh.
Really easily done. Synkrov has got some isolated damage, but that's a summoner spell used, so Flaxish got to play a little more careful in this very heavy pushing lane matchup.
Really impressive what he did. Literally uses the Flash to create a gap small enough that he could then get the original slice, which will then set up for his dice so that he can then create a gap. And then he lands the stun afterwards so that he has enough time to escape from the gank from Synkrov. So he does lose his flash in that exchange, but it was also good creative pathing from Synkrov. So
also important to note that Flaxish got first blood in game 1 because of a great outplay.
That's true, it's true.
Definitely showed up to carry today, and Memento steals away that red buff. We just caught the tail end of the invade.
So now a lot of vision investment on the bottom side. Knight taking a lot of damage.
And then Nahun gets slowed down.
But this is really good for Nahun, because normally what you expect in this lane is actually just super farm heavy. So Knight, he usually invests a lot of early mana and a lot of early cooldown reduction. So normally they go for the Rod of Ages into Morellonomicon build. Being forced back will delay that, and it's already a fairly weak early itemization. So any advantages Nahun can get, the better.
All right, advantages in the bottom lane. Flash, Flay, Death Sentence flashed away. Hustlin's able to escape. Exhaust was used, so was Heal. But Tabs committed for the chase. Memento may sniff an opportunity. Gonna jump in the bush, land on Synkrov, savagery into Battle Roar. But the Bowler Strike found no target, nor did the follow-up Flay. Origen with their first gank attempt, countered by Memento, summoner spells blown across the board.
Exactly that. Look at all the flashes that we use. Tabs is flashless, Peke is flashless. Now Hustlin posturing very far up the lane.
Yeah, he is indeed. And I want to look at Hikyu and Tabs just a little closer. Hikyu on that Lucian. Obviously in the previous game, Tabs having a tough time against Hikyu's Ashe. That's the stats you can see on your screen right now. It was Ashe into Ezreal, and Tabs ate a few more arrows than he was maybe wanting to.
Yes, didn't quite flash when he should have. His positioning was not ideal. And you can see that early on, in the laning phase, Tabs really did struggle. Hikyu really has had his number fairly consistently throughout this season. And we talk about legacy, bear in mind that Tabs, he used to be that superstar AD carry on Alliance that everyone was praising so much. They were saying, oh, he's such a talented AD carry. Whatever happened to this guy? Why is he not given better opportunities? And you can see that as time has gone by, Tabs has not been able to maintain that same level of play.
I also think it is important to note that Tabs has had a couple of supports in lane with him this split already.
That's very true.
And Expeke, you know, coming back in to bring some leadership, not a support main.
That's very
and
fair.
Not in his best form.
It's very fair.
So I think you do need to, you know, add that factor in. Origen, first blood is available. Memento's the target. Gonna use the Battle Roar. Here comes the Chrono Shift. It'll buy some time as Memento runs away, leap forward, flashed away from. And the Bowler Strike will slow down Synkrov. So at least Knight is able to save Memento, but no first blood yet.
We're continually seeing these plays from Memento, which can very readily get punished from OG. And I feel like he needs to be a little bit more restrained with this sort of style.
And I think that was quite reminiscent of Game 1. You know, we've given a few summaries of the 2 previous games, but in Game 1, Memento's Lee Sin was sort of invading. There was no real answer from Origen. This time round, they seem to be more aware of it at least. And had some defensive vision, and they responded.
And bear in mind that The invade itself was absolutely fine. He had Flaxish there as support while the invade was happening. He knows that Knight was available to make a swift movement should things go awry, but his whole goal was just to get some vision around this blue buff so that they could either look to try and fight for it, or at the very least they have information on where Synkrov is, so then they can perhaps use that as an opportunity to get some vision down in the bottom half of the map, start setting up for that early dragon to get those objectives off the board. So the play itself was fine. It was just the fact that Memento tried to go for a fight. He didn't take the safe route out. He didn't properly plan ahead in the event that what if Synkrov is in this jungle.
Yep, what if it hits the fan? Luckily, the Summon Knight button was available. I've checked in on the Summoner spells all previous games, so I'm going to do the same now. Teleports for Flaxish and Knight. 1 Exhaust for Hustlin. Could be very useful against the Nahun Shockwave later in the game. And of course, no exhaust on the side of Origen could be problematic when you consider a Rengar or a Renekton will be running into your face.
Speaking
like
of,
this.
They're looking for a dive bot. Bear in mind, Tabs does have ulti. Here comes the TP.
All right, Thrill of the Hunt is available, is used, and Tabs is the target. Hell, nothing more is even needed. Piercing Light comes out, First Blood picked up by Memento, and the culling plus some damage secures a double for Memento.
And this all backtracks to that vision that Memento had invested onto that blue half of the map. He saw where Synkrov was. He knew exactly that there was room for them to make a play down bottom. They pushed towards the tower. The ward was already set up in advance. Giants get themselves a successful dive, and they will get themselves the first tower of the game.
Oh, the bonus gold from the tower First Blood. Double kill for a Rengar. In a game that decides your LCS fate, I implore you guys at home to look at those player cams as they rotate through. And Origen gave up that double kill. I looked up and every single one of them just looked down, looked defeated. And it is a tough situation to be in. 10 minutes into game 3 and you're already down 1,000 gold.
Meanwhile, Giants, they're riding off the high of being 2-0 up. The whole setup was so good from Giants. Memento leading the charge, setting up the ward, ready for the follow-up. And again, just look at your minimap, the positioning of Synkrov. This play is perfectly safe from Giants. There is no teleport available from Gragas. This was all orchestrated much earlier on. And this is the sort of proactive play we've been wondering where it was from Giants. Now, off the back of this confidence, off the back of that they are 1 game away from being able to get that rematch against Fnatic Academy, is giving them the confidence to try and make these plays happen. Yeah,
giving Giants just a great stepping stone. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Origen were able to at least pick up a tower in the top lane, and they've got, you know, a fair element of scaling and wave clear on this side, so they have tools available to them. But they cannot afford to make those mistakes. Origen cannot get caught out like they have been in the 2 previous games. I mean, Peke now at risk of being killed ever so slightly, able to get away. And like Peke, he's got 9 isolated deaths to his name. So that means he's died 9 times when his teammates are simply not around him or in range. That's the 4th highest in the league.
Yep.
And he's only played 16 games.
It's pretty high. Memento maybe looking to try and make that 10 isolated deaths as he's on the hunt for Peke. He does have his flash.
Oh, this is thrilling. Oh. The jump, the leap, the culling. Hiku gets a kill onto Xpeke. Now Hustlin and Memento gonna at least break the tether of the chain of corruption. Knight, a little bit of trouble. Chrono Shift is available to him. Time Bomb number 1 was picked up, and the Time Warp allowed him to at least get out to safety. Giants, 3rd kill of the game, looking now to defend the mid-outer tower.
And I've just been very quickly told by my stats team that technically that wasn't an isolated death, but it was a very good setup from Memento. He utilized his ultimate to find a target out of position. Peke, even with the flash, could not sustain the damage that was thrown out from this level 8 Rengar. You talked about him already being 2-0. His jungle item was completed. All those crits, all that damage, making life so difficult for Origen. But now let's have a look at the mid lane. Sartorius, he has moved his way here.
Body slams available. Look at the stun. Knight throws down Sartorius' movement. There's support from Hustler and Memento, but that's not the greatest at breaking this range disparity for now. Nahun and Peke, last man standing in front of the tower. Still down 1,500 gold. Synkrov Not looking very healthy on that player cam.
Now, if you're
serious faces.
Yep. It's got to feel tough, feel very difficult, especially with Memento always roaming around the map and looking for these plays, especially now that your TP is once again on cooldown. The Renekton will have priority once more to try and make these kind of plays happen. It looks like he even actually interrupted it, so good plays.
So good. Flaxish has had a very good series.
Yeah, it's a very good series.
Thank you for that addition. I'm so glad you agree. Would you like to add on to it?
It's largely because he's not only has he shown a lot of variation in his playstyles, he's brought out the Nautilus, the Shen, and now the Renekton. He's demonstrated that he knows how to play passive in lane, he knows how to work with his team, and he's also demonstrated his own individual unique proficiency. And while he is a little bit down in farm, that is because of the different map plays that he's been looking to make with his team, and his deficit is a team gain.
Yes, exactly. I mean, 2 assists of the team's 3 kills. Been holding hands with Memento. Hiku's got, 100% kill participation on this Lucian. And it's only his second time playing Lucian. I remember correctly. I'll double check that right now.
I feel like every AD
played it once last week.
Every AD carry was a Lucian main at some point.
Yeah, I guess you had to.
He was a super fun AD carry, especially right now he's really fun because of his insane mobility. The Blade of the Ruin King changes really benefited him. The reason why he's not super popular is because utility is still really valued amongst AD carries, and because of his short range, it's difficult to siege.
Oh, great death sentence. Hustlin is down. That's the first kill of the game for Origen before Peke just gets blown up where he's standing. Synchro beats a full channel from the culling, and it's a double for Hiku.
Really good initial setup from Origen, but they did not realize that the rest of Giants were there to help support. Another 2 kills go in the favor of Giants. Both of them go on top of Hiku, and Giants are steadily growing their lead, slowly beginning to put this pressure down onto Origen, who are already feeling the weight of this game.
So important for Giants. Good confidence game, good confidence series. They have 1 day to prepare for Fnatic Academy tomorrow. Hell, less than that. It's almost 10 p.m. Games will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. They're 3,000 up at 15 minutes. Origen are they're falling apart, They've picked up 2 game wins all year long. And now the only play seems to be wait in a bush and look for a target with a death sentence.
The thing is, I would slightly disagree in the sense that they're falling apart, because at what point have we ever really seen a strong Origen? How can something fall if it's already on the ground?
That's fair. I mean, it's very harsh. But
it is harsh, but I just think that we have to be true when it comes to Origen. They are a team that has very rarely shown signs of strength during the regular season. Only against the bottom teams have they really shown glimmers.
1 game against Rocket and 1 game against Giants. That's all Origen have been able to pick up. They got 3-0'd in the first round of promos. And now they're on the verge of being 3-0'd in the second round. A difficult end to what was one of Europe's pride and joys.
Yep. But also great for Giants, because in the event that they do get this 3-0, we already highlighted that they will be playing Fnatic Academy once again, and the last time that those 2 teams did match up, Fnatic looked like the dominant force pretty consistently throughout that series. And this is an opportunity for Giants to rematch them. They can reevaluate what went wrong. They've very lightly gone back. They've looked through the footage and they've identified, okay, these are the strengths of Fnatic. And now they've even got a best-of-5 series against Misfits to also watch back on as well. And what have Giants really demonstrated from this series? Because they've been going up against Origen, they haven't really been pushed, and Giants haven't really demonstrated a severe weakness that Fnatic can necessarily gain from this series.
Luckily, Flaxish is playing very well, so that's another potential threat.
Very true.
And Flaxish on this Renekton, he's got that Blade of the Ruin King, he's evened up that CS disparity, and Memento with Thrill of the Hunt and backup from Hustlin and Knight set their sights on Nahyun. Very good prediction on the roots. The Stranglethorns goes up, that'll throw Synkrov into the air. Time Bomb comes down and the Chrono Shift will save Memento's life. He's got Flash available and jumps over the wall into the Raptor camp. Very good decision making. Giants force OG away. Defensive Flash from Knight and Peke is down. That's his 4th death of the game. The tower is the focus and there's no more fight from Origen.
Giants get themselves the tower. That is exactly what they want. And Peke hands them a kill on a silver platter. 2 towers now in favor of Giants. The bottom lane is being pushed in. And Origen, even further goes their control.
Giants, 4,000 gold up. The map is their playground. Every time Memento throws down that ultimate, somebody almost dies. Just really good decision-making there from Hustler and Memento.
And just look at the mini-map as well, because you can see that Tabs is forced to take the long way around, and the moment the Rengar respawns, the ultimate misses. The respawn from the Zilean ultimate is a little bit faster than that of Guardian Angel. He doesn't quite predict it, and then Peke goes for a flash ulti on Tonight. But who's going to follow that, Peke? Tabs, he doesn't have any mana left. Synchrov's not going to jump into 3 members. Your mid lane has already been forced back without any ultimate. It was just a desperation play that wouldn't have resulted in anything, and all you did was add more gold into the pocket of Giants as they just turn around and not only gave away the tower, but that kill as well.
So for Giants now, how do they extend this lead further? Hiku's likely going to give up a death. There's a lot of support lower down the river, but I don't think he can get away. Flay goes out, death sentence as well. Hiku just overextended, but is there enough support from Giants? Knight teleported to the top lane and instead is backed away.
Okay, so that was a good punish from OG. They realized that Hiku's entirely out of position. They had good enough vision control to identify that there was no support as well, and now they might be looking for a fight onto Memento.
Oh, we were signing Origen their death warrant, but they're finding some life. The Chrono Shift comes out. That will bring Hustlin back to life, but Memento goes down. That's a double kill for Synchro. They're not done. Death Sentence goes wide. Knight is the target. Body Slam connects. Sartorius is on the board, and Origen are closing the lead.
They found themselves 4 kills in total. Flaxish is the only one left alive. Origen are gonna lose a mid lane tower, and all of a sudden, the team that was on the brink of desperation, the team that was forced to the edge of that cliff, are slowly starting to find ground in this game. And you can see this is where things really started to descend into Chaos. Memento trying to clear out a ward. You know that Origen are in the top half of the map. You know that they've just been able to kill Hiku, and instead you just walk into them. You give them an opportunity to just pick up these kills, and then Nike just trying to help his team out. He's just trying to be the support that he can be on Zilean, but instead, he just makes matters all the more worse. Origen doing exactly what they needed to do, and Flaxish just being an annoying crocodile once again.
Again, second time this game, Flaxish has been able to interrupt Sartorius' TP. And a crucial loss of focus for the Giants squad. They were scattered, Hiku was overextended, then Giants were really all over the place. I mean, Knight TP'd up to a play that fizzled. And now Giants, that lead, that monumental advantage they'd accrued is gone. It's an even game all of a sudden, and Synchro with 3 kills is a threat.
But how much of a threat relative to Hiku? Just bear in mind, this Lucian is 4-1 and 2, has completed the Blade of the Ruin King, working towards the Black Cleaver as well. And I'm sitting there thinking of team fight value. I'm still going to give the edge to Giants right now. They can still play around this AD carry with Knight, with Memento always looking to dive into the backline. And right now, it's a battle of, could Synchro one-shot Hiku faster than Hiku could shred through the team of Origen? When you have the Zilean ult,
and yes,
it's just going to add it. It's just going to make things so much difficult.
Yep, so much difficult, and that's what Origen need to overcome.
So much more difficult, I should say.
I know, but I'm going to go with yours. I prefer it your way. If you're an Origen fan, put your hands up in the air and summon all of the energy that you can. You need to give Xpeke that Spirit Bomb.
I didn't realize you were going that way. I thought, I'm waving like you just don't care. Woo!
No, of course they care. That's why they're voting.
That's why I was confused.
We've done a few Dragon Ball Z references.
That's true. And
Spirit Bomb, Xpeke. He's 1 kill, 4 assists. So he's definitely been around his team's kills recently.
But it's got to be a big one, because right now, Giants, they're looking like Martian Buu. That is a guy that took like 70 episodes to defeat. Spoiler. And even then, they didn't defeat him. He's still in the series.
Yep. Reincarnated as Oob. One of my favorite storytelling points. Death Sentence just goes wide. That Cloud Drake, you see? The Cloud Drake is what threw off the prediction. Had the movement speed not been there, maybe Huston could have been caught. Just saying. I didn't see if there was support for the kills, but it doesn't matter because Sartorius throws down that explosive cask. That buys some time. All right, Dragon, Ocean Drake is available. Giants have better vision around that area. For Origen, on the other hand, have 3 control wards in the top river section of the map.
Ooh, and they're sending Hiku up to the top lane. Bear in mind that there are no teleports, but they should be up fairly soon. So I guess the plan for Giants is, look, let's just get as much farm experience of the Hiku as we possibly can. Let's just sacrifice the Ocean Drake. It's not the biggest loss for us in the world. So it's absolutely fine. The Infernal Drake will be the next dragon available for these teams. I feel like that could be a big point of contention because you want to be getting as much damage as possible onto this AD carry. He's definitely the main focal point for Giants composition. Yeah, the whole context of this game is now different. Origen have got some key kills. Luden's Echo, Morella, Nomicon, and a needlessly large rod for Nahun's Oriana. He's going to hit like a truck. And you've got champions like Renekton, Rengar, Lucian that really want to kind of clump up. You know, they're short-range Lucian and melee divers. So Origen, some options available to them. They've held onto that top outer turret, and they're still even in the gold, but they also have to somehow deal with this Renekton. But I want to very quickly backtrack to this Oriana point that you mentioned, because while it's true this build path is fine, it's also very risky. I think that his third item should be more towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, because he's already got a lot of damage in his kit, especially when he hits the level 16 mark, and he gets 3 points in his ulti. The team fights will be heavily in favor in terms of damage if he is able to land that shockwave. So you just get the Zhonyas as security. Champions like Renekton and Rengar are very good at diving onto your face. Their whole point is to be able to get onto these squishy mid-lane mages and just crush through them. So being able to get a bit of armor under your belt, I think, is the safer way to go. So I think this is a risky build that could come to hurt him later on.
Oh, Synchron is able to get out of range of Memento. The box goes down from Peke, and Stranglethorns holds him in place. Thrill of the Hunt comes down. Flaxish finished the teleport. He's in between 4 members of Origen. Takes a lot of damage. The shockwave is still available and the culling goes down. Memento comes back to life thanks to the chrono shift. And that's a great shockwave. The piercing arrow is not going to be enough for a kill. Luckily, Hiku with the heal is able to escape.
Nahun will dissuade the continued push from Giants. They will be stopped from their onslaught. They have to return to the waves to regain control of that side pressure. But a good pick from Giants. They lied in wait. They waited for Origen to try and get some deep vision in the top half. You can see now, Origen still being able to maintain control over the river. They're going to pick up the Scuttle Crab. Baron is still in their eyes. And you can feel the tension between these two teams. It's not as cut and dry as Giants having that early game lead after OG found a couple of those kills. They were very swiftly able to come back in a few of these fights. And Peke, he is the sacrificial lamb in this instance, and it's fine because OG, they can't really continue the fight. They just have to disengage. The fact that they turn their attention onto Flaxish is really good, and that barrel also buys them a lot of time as well. It keeps Memento out of the fray, and now you have the Jarvan effect where Memento, he's just jumping, diving, flashing so far away from his team that the rest of them can't follow up. So he ends up going down and then gets put in a position where the Oriana can get that 3-man ultimate off and just stop Giants from continuing the push.
Look at that damage from the shockwave. Even though you can feel the impact of the Rengar, the Renekton, the Lucian, they didn't get enough continued time on targets thanks to good outplay. Nahun with the shockwave, Sartorius with that barrel. Origen, they're still behind, they're still trailing, but it feels like there's some more life in the team. And their team composition as well is fighting back. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Zilean. He's got a Morella Nomicon. Got that Seraph's Embrace upgraded. Where does he go next? Death Cap? Or maybe something a little safer? Abyssal Scepter? Not really. Not really a huge amount of
magic damage. Death Cap is absolutely fine for Zilean. Usually you never play on the front lines. You're always the supportive role in a lot of team fights. You put bombs on either allies or you look to try and get the double stun, which is usually very difficult in big, hectic fights. So maybe you provide more peel rather than just upfront damage. So you can afford to go more towards the damage build. And now Hustlin, he has been caught out.
Yeah, he has. Syncroft gets so much damage. Is going to ride the Lantern to safety, so they get the Stranglethorns and the Exhaust. Memento's looking to engage with Thrill of the Hunt. Peck is on the front line and the Bowler connects, but so does the Death Sentence. Memento will have the ultimate from Knight Zillion come back to life. All of a sudden, the fight is split in two. Memento still remains the target as Hiku fires out the culling. Syncroft stays alive for a few seconds longer, and Expeke will not go down. The Flay doesn't connect. 1, 2 bombs. What was the idea? That simply didn't work out.
Peke reveals himself when Giants had no idea that he was in that brush. They were just going to return to the wave and back off, and instead Origen give away a kill. What was so back and forth, so close for Origen and Giants will result in a team fight win going in the favor of Giants once more. But now, Origen, they're looking to try and get some control over the top jungle.
All right, Sartorius jumps onto Hustlin, but ends up needing to use the flash to escape. All of a sudden, Origen, they're split up, they're not focused. Shockwave is on cooldown, but it's coming back available very, very quickly. Sartorius stays alive a few seconds longer. Nahyun wants to keep this fight going. You can feel it. The Giants are able to back away, and if you look at the scoreboard, 8 kills to 5. It's a 3,000 gold difference, but Origen's team fight is making up that gold difference. And also, it's Memento's, 80-plus farm, 1,300 gold lead over his opponent, where a lot of that gold is focused.
The big issue that Giants are currently dealing with is how difficult it is for Giants to actually close the gap against Origen. They're so reliant on Flaxish to get a flank that if he's not getting onto these primary targets, then there's actually no way for Giants to close the gap, because you have Memento diving in, but often he dives in by himself. Like, where is the support from Memento right now? That he makes a bit of a mistake using the bowler here rather than using his empowered W to get out of the CC, but fortunately Knight is there to provide support. But again, Hiku, look at his positioning. Back of the fight, not dealing any damage. The Shockwave goes down. Memento is just getting pushed out of the fight by the time that Hiku is already joined. And here you can see Giants are just like, okay, we don't care. Peke's probably gone. Then he goes back.
Yeah, don't understand. Spec ends up giving up his life. Okay, while we're in the replay, for the astute viewers out there, in our little picture-in-picture in the bottom left, Origen were able to pick up the Infernal Drake. They actually secured that one underneath the jungle. Hustlin is once again the target. Syncroft gets a lot of damage down. He flashes away, but Syncroft leaps and sinks the fangs in. He tastes Giant's fear. The Death Sentence connects onto Memento, so does the Shockwave. Expeke is not dead yet. The barrel sends Knight away. Hiku's not here. The double kill, double bomb, double boom. Knight fighting back. Tabs and Nahyun are running for their life. Even without Hiku, Giants win the fight.
Massive team fight win for Giants. Yes, they ended up losing Knight and Hustlin, but it doesn't matter because 4 members of Origen are dead. The Baron is alive, and that looked so good for Origen, but it ended in disaster.
Absolute disaster. Giants are on the Baron. It's a 3-man stack. There's no ultimate for Sartorius, but he's got the body slam available. Is he going to attempt to steal? Body slam's over. Picked up by Giants. Now Sartorius will gift 1 additional kill to Hiku. 13 kills to 7. Baron buff. And Origen, they just chased too far.
This initial fight was so promising for Origen. They know that Hiku's in the bottom lane. They land such good hooks onto Memento, who is in this fight really the main damage dealer. He goes down, and then the re-engage from Flaxish with the bombs is exactly what gets the turnaround. Notice that Knight, he props the bomb himself, so he knows he can guarantee that damage. Sure, he flashes into the fight. He shouldn't have done that, but regardless, the damage was already done. With all of the main damage dealers out of the fray, Giants could get the cleanup, get the Baron, and now their eyes are on the Nexus and a possible opportunity at fighting for that LCS spot.
That's right, this is the loser's match. The winner here still has to play Fnatic Academy tomorrow. Giants with Baron, Black Cleaver, Blade of the Rune King, Phantom Dancer, and a BF Sword for Hiku. Involved in 10 of the team's 13 kills. Memento, 11 of the 13. His Rengar has been quite literally leading the charge.
Yes.
And all of the engages. And Knight, time after time after time, been in the right place and reviving everybody. appropriate because of the champion. And he went for a Void Staff second item as opposed to, third item rather. As opposed to that Death Cap, I guess. More damage early. And look at this, Giants are just breaking open the map.
And this game, we make a lot of funny Dragon Ball references, but in all seriousness, this is very much like the spirit, the energy was given to Origen. They came back fighting. They were winning a lot of really good situations for them. They were making the game much closer than it should have been. But then they threw the Spirit Bomb, and it just wasn't enough. Boo came back. He was strong enough. He survived the blast. And now, Giants are in a prime position to be able to take this final game, but let's see if Origen still have some energy left.
DQ's the target, Sartorius wants to come in. Look at the minimap. Giants have support in the jungle. Flash for flash, none of the CC hitting yet. Hiku locked in place by the Chain of Corruption, and Memento has already shut down Syncroft. Hiku comes back to life because of the Chrono Shift, and all of a sudden it's Origen that need to get out of dodge. The re-engage from Giants. Flaxish has made his way down. Body Slam is going to interrupt the follow-up. All of a sudden Flaxish is chasing down Origen. The Shockwave was used. 3 members are down. Giants are pouring into the base.
Giants find another team fight win. They have the Baron empowered minions. There are only 2 Nexus turrets standing in their way, and they are going to 3-0 Origen.
This is the final push. Giants have 2 members standing in front of them. Sartorius is being burned alive. Got the shield from Command Protect, got a GA available, and Giants don't want to make mistakes. They've backed away. Baron is still available for a little while longer, and instead, more towers and objectives.
Syncroft has just respawned, Peke alongside him. Giants realize that they should just be happy with the inhibitor. They do not want to throw away what is such an important game for them. But my word, Origen, that play, you could just see how crushed they were. The fact that you get a flank off from Sartorius onto Hiku, the guy that you need to kill, and then he misses everything. You think that you have such a promising flank. Syncroft, he can't even secure the flank, and then look at this. Flash Body Slam misses from Origen, he loses the ultimates from Sartorius too. You successfully kill Hiku, and then he comes back. Full HP thanks to the Zillion ultimate. And it's just, like, what do you do at that point? Like, you invest everything into trying to kill the AD carry. He literally just gets back up again. And you just have to feel destroyed.
I agree with you. That's where Origen find themselves down 10,000 gold. Super minions in the bottom lane. On the verge of being 3-0'd. And it is heartbreaking for Origen fans, for the Origen organization. Memento wants to end the game. Thrill of the Hunt goes down. Where's the support from Knight? Memento just waiting in the wings. He can see Nahyun. Once Knight backs up, that Time Warp plus Chrono Shift, just such a powerful combination. Instead, Giants are just going to wait for this Elder Dragon. Play it safe, you know. Origen, they have to face check. They have to move into the darkness.
Now, Giants, they're going to keep pushing up mid. They need to make sure they have that control. Peke, he needs to be careful.
Somehow, like a magical pick could buy time. But Peke needs to find, geez, the needle in the haystack. He cannot miss. Sartorius has got that GA, keep in mind, that will buy some time for the front line, but he's used the ultimate. That didn't accomplish much. Flaxish is the target. Chrono Shift available. The box will block off any sort of re-engage. Flay is going to find Flaxish. Death Sentence as well. Shockwave, ult him in place, but look at the culling. The Stranglethorns. Origen can't get over the bushes. It's a kill onto Nahyun. Sartorius loses his GA. Memento keeps jumping forward with savagery over and over. Peck and Sartorius are left standing. And Tabs is running for his life. Flaxish is teleporting in. This is the final fight.
Origen once again couldn't even get a kill onto Flaxish, and he's just going to end the fight with Tabs being the final man. Ace for Giants, and this is going to be it.
The ace, the base, Nexus turrets are falling. Origen get 3-0'd. Origen's nightmare come to an end as Giants keep their LCS dream alive.